Nobel Prize nominated doctor, best-selling author and emergency room physician, Dr. Christopher Hall. Dr. Hall, thank you for your service, and I know you're excited about our guest.
Wow, you know what? I'm extremely excited about our guests. And today, we have the executive producer, Basketball Wives, the founder and CEO of Amira Incorporated, a mother, a highly inspirational figure for women across the world. We have Miss Shawnee Henderson. Wow, welcome to the show, Shawnee.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here.
Shawnee, it's got to be like amazing the just to finally have a book come out. It's got to feel good, doesn't it?
It feels amazing. Like, who would have thought that I would ever have a book, like to be an author and add that to the one accomplishment, another accomplishment that I've can put on my list. It's a awesome feeling.
All right, Chris, go ahead with your first question.
Oh, no problem. It's got to be an awesome feeling. So now, what inspired you to write the book, Shawnee?
Well, I just think it's the space that I'm in life right now. Just talking to other women and sharing with other women my journey, my personal journey. People will be like, people don't know this about you, and you should share this. Like, this is so helpful or inspiring. And that's exactly what I did. I was writing this book for a few years, and I just kept getting scared. I would, scare myself out of finishing it just because, your story always includes other people. And it wasn't anyone else's decision to write a book but mine. So it wasn't like, me sharing stories about my mom and my dad. Like, it's not they didn't decide to write a book. Me sharing stories about Shaquille and I and our relationship. He wasn't writing the book. So I just always was so fearful of including other people that were a part of my journey in a book. But I think that I was able to share my journey and my truth and inspire and encourage and hopefully empower people to just see that you can take the broken pieces of your life and put them back together again at any point. You just have to make the decision to do so. And, taking challenges in life and turning them into opportunities to be undefeated. That's exactly what the book is. It's just really my memoir that's turned manual into just sharing my life's journeys, but with some very, very common, relatable issues. And hopeful, if I reach one person and I'm able to help them not make the same mistakes that I made, or if they're going through some of the things that I went through and how I navigated through it, being able to help them navigate through it is the whole point of the book. So I'm hopeful to share my book of resilience with somebody to show them that it's never too late.
Absolutely. It's never too late. And you know what? My resilience, I'm an entrepreneur, former professional wrestler, turned school teacher, turned entrepreneur again, turned a media mogul in certain aspects. And now I'm going back into professional wrestling for a documentary. And in 2 weeks, my filmmaker's coming out for the first interview type deal for the documentary. So I understand exactly how I'm going to tell my story of challenges and things like that. And sometimes when we talk about these things, Shawnee, the issue is it brings back some pain too, because it's not all a bed of roses, your life.
Absolutely. But I think that it also was kind of therapeutic to, I encouraged myself writing this book because it was like sometimes when you're just in the moment and you're in this journey of life, you don't realize how much of a life lesson that pain or that sadness or that anger taught you. And I think while writing this book, I kind of reminisced on some things that were hurtful and painful or brought anger out of me in that moment and realized, wow, like I really turned that into this, or that really taught me this. And so, yes, you're absolutely right. Just it will it will stir up some emotions for you. But I think for me and writing this book, I was able to take those emotions and like I said, kind of encourage myself. I'm like, hey, girl, you did that. You know what I mean? Like you really, I remember feeling that defeated and that down and out. And here you are, you took that moment and you turned it around and turned that challenge into an opportunity to be undefeated. So I really did encourage myself, unknowing that I didn't know I was doing that until it was happening in the moment, where I was like, kind of patting myself on the back sometimes. It's just like, geez, you were so broken, but you mended that part of your life in a way that is encouraging.
All right, Chris, go ahead. Next question.
Oh, wow. I mean, that inspiration, that's the oxygen that we need in life, that Shawnee's talking about. So she's done so much stuff, an author now. Well, Shawnee, how did you come up with the idea for Basketball Wives?
Well, interestingly enough, I honestly came up with the idea while I was still married. And I kind of just sat on it because I didn't know anything about the entertainment industry. And in my marriage, it was like, more comfortable if I just was a supportive wife and a great mom. So career, doing things like that wasn't super encouraged because it was just not a comfortable space for anybody. So I had the idea. I sat on it. I just, kind of, it was in my head. Once I got a divorce, immediately I had to come up with, and I share this in my book, why I went into survival mode. But I had no choice but to go into survival mode or drown. And that's when I took that idea and I, called whoever I thought could possibly help me figure out and navigate this entertainment industry that I knew nothing about. And, this many years, 14 years later, here we are with Basketball Wives. But it literally was out of survival mode that Basketball Wives was, pretty much developed.
We create things
Incredible.
when we're in the biggest stresses of our lives. The geniuses of entrepreneurship, ideas come about when we're feeling we're in our we have to deliver. And that's where it's like the last shot or whatever in sports analogies that you bring to the table or anything. It's how the successful people in life are the ones when their backs are against the wall, they're able to come up with something. And you were able to come up with this. And I think that you really learned so much from the relationships you built while being married to Shaquille that you said, you know what, this is something that people need to see, the other side of a story, not just the story of the superstar, but the story of the wife of that superstar.
Yes, absolutely. I thought it was so important to give women a platform to have a voice because I feel like I lost mine. I allowed myself to lose mine. I wasn't aware that I lost my voice. I was in the moment, and I think that once I got a divorce, I realized I was just in his shadow, and I didn't even realize it. I did not know I had lost myself, so I was determined. Like, this is a platform, we can have a voice, and it wasn't about the guys. It wasn't about bashing them. It wasn't about saying, oh, this is what athletes do or don't do, etc. It was about us. And it was about we're here. We have personalities, we have businesses, we have aspirations, we have goals, we have, friendships and whatever it is, just giving women a platform and a voice was my goal here. And again, it was out of survival mode, but once we were in it, it was like, wow, it's so many women's lives that have been changed just by the platform of Basketball Wives. So I'm just super thankful that, in the moment of it being survival mode, it was able to positively change several women's lives just by having a voice.
All right, Chris, next question.
Wow. No problem at all. So now, China does so much. Again, a CEO, a mother, and, China, how do you deal with the balancing demands of work and of personal life?
I believe it's about being intentional and prioritizing. You know, what are your will nots. I think I have figured out that learning to say no to things is a must do. You know, you can't do everything. You can't be great at a million things, right? You're going to have to scale that list down and decide what are the things that you want to master, what are the things that you want to be great at, and juggle those things as best as you can, but be realistic about it. And I have 5 kids, so my kids were always, especially after divorce, I felt this sense of guilt. I felt this sense of failing, and I share this in the book as well, of just how I prioritized myself by leaving that relationship, but then kicked into protective mode of protecting my kids from having to feel such a hard blow of divorce as much as I could, because kids are gonna feel it regardless. But I tried to protect them as much as I possibly could, and the balancing act started immediately. And to this day, I'm still balancing because my kids are all over the place playing basketball and DJing and doing all types of things that I try to be supportive to all of them. But, after a while, it just becomes a part of the machine. It's a part of life. But I sit with my calendar and put it on the calendar and just go. Please
Absolutely.
fit in somewhere in there.
Absolutely. All right. Now, Chris, go ahead and summarize Shawnee, and then we'll find out where we can purchase the book. Go ahead, Chris.
No problem. I mean, this is going to be this obviously be a great book. Undefeated, changing the roles and living on my own terms. So there we have it. Wow, a very inspirational figure for women across the globe. CEO, just amazing. Thanks for coming on the show this morning, Shawnee.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate the both of you, and I hope everybody goes out and gets their copy of Undefeated. You can grab it at Amazon, make a trip to Target. Who doesn't like that? ShawneeHenderson.com. I'm at I am Shawnee on Instagram, and there's a link there as well. So I really believe that, it will inspire and educate and empower you to realize that it's never too late to, face your challenges and make them into an opportunity to be undefeated.
All right. Thanks again, Shawnee. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great one.
You too. That was special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show and Celebrity and